This is First in the West. I'm Staff Sergeant Tiger Foster. It's a busy time here at Division West, and we're going to bring you a few highlights of this year's Soldier and NCO of the Year competition, as well as the recent ride to recovery. That's next on First in the West. This year's Division West competitors for the NCO and Soldier of the Year faced a number of challenges, including an 8-mile foot march, which began and ended in this very location. But before we show you those scenes, the actual 3-day competition started off with some preliminary activities involving a weigh-in,
68 and a half, 167 pounds,
a written exam,
begin,
and the Army physical fitness test. But things got a lot more serious once the soldiers officially began competing.
Day 2.
Forget about what happened yesterday and only think about this event, and then when it's done, it's done.
Standards: conduct the 8-mile foot march in accordance with FM 21-18 for time, and competitive times will be given upon completion.
57, 58, 59, 206.
Good.
Prepare and go into the board tomorrow and give it everything you got.
I haven't done the final board yet, so one of the things about being last, you get a lot of time to mull over stuff. But I just want to get it done and over with, so I'm trying to stay loose here, waiting my turn to go represent the NCO Corps.
Division West Sergeant Major Corey Gill, who coordinated this year's annual event, talks about the activities these soldiers took part in.
We've turned the event into a zero tolerance of subjectivity. It's all objectivity, and it's all graded by scores. We've added ruck marches, we've added the warrior task lanes, and the point system used this year. The top 5 would have already beaten last year's competitor that won.
Eventually, all good things come to an end, even NCO and Soldier of the Year competitions.
Today we will recognize the Division West Non-Commissioned Officer and Soldier of the Year for 2012.
You understand that it is our inherent responsibility to strap on the mantle of leadership and take charge and lead troops into one of the most demanding, challenging environments that this nation has ever been a part of.
It's a great learning experience. You push yourself to study, train, and work harder than you would normally have to, and that only makes you a better soldier.
Sergeant Major Marsh, my command sergeant major, called me and said, "Hey, I think you could do really well. I want you to represent the battalion." I said, "Roger." Didn't think I had a chance of winning the last level, and the competition at this level, I thought there's no way. So I'm a little shocked.
The Division West Command Sergeant Major is pleased with the results.
The winners here in this case are from the reserve component, and you can't tell us our reserve, National Guard, and active component soldiers apart. So great competition.
Our next story also involves a lot of activity. In fact, it's all about this year's 4th annual Ride to Recovery. And we have with us here one of the participants, Sergeant First Class Mike Nash, who participated in this year's ride. So Sergeant Nash, can you tell for the people who don't know a little bit about the Ride to Recovery?
Well, the Ride to Recovery is a fantastic not-for-profit organization that raises money to help wounded veterans in their healing process. They do this by putting up challenges, and what we participated in was part of the Texas Challenge. The Texas Challenge was a ride from San Antonio to Arlington over 6 days. What you're going to see in some of this footage is us leaving from the Shiloh Inn here in Killeen. And that morning we get up, we get ready just like we would be getting ready for any mission in theater, with PCCs, PCIs, checking your bike, checking your tires, and making sure you have all your equipment. And there's a safety briefing and an explanation of the route and the timeline.
Once we leave Fort Hood out of the gate, we're going to do a quick stop, and then everyone from there on will get into A, B, C, and D groups.
Keep your spacing because you're going to do a lot of looking around.
You don't want to be the guy that falls down in front of 47,000 troops.
Thanks for the negative affirmation.
From there, we moved to the 3 Corps headquarters building, and we had a great send-off there from the Wounded Warrior Brigade and a few other units. And then we rode through post with units all along the sides of roads, cheering us on. Even the local schools had kids out there, and we were slapping their hands as we rode by. And then we rode past Division West, and that was fantastic because I got to see all the people I work with every day outside cheering me on. So we rode past there, and then we came out East Gate, and we turned right like we were heading to Belora Lake. And that was really, really tough route, lots of long hills. We made it to, I believe it was Lakewood Elementary, where they had just the most fantastic celebration welcoming us there. They were celebrating, I think, their Patriot Flag Day or something. And it was really fantastic. They had great lunch for us.
Did the ride end there at Lakewood Elementary?
No, actually, that was just our lunch break. After that, we still had probably about a good 40 miles left, which was a very, very long ride after that early start that we had. The hills seemed to get longer and taller and more difficult, and having ridden the day prior, your legs were sore, everything hurt. It was very, very hard after leaving Lakewood Elementary. As you got closer to Waco, you started seeing the signs for hitting the small towns before there, and you kept thinking, man, are we almost there? Are we almost there? And kept asking the guys with the GPS, and they'd keep telling us, 6 miles, 5 miles, 4 miles, and they just, each mile towards the end seemed to be even longer than the mile before it. But once we actually got to the VA hospital in Waco, it was an incredible moment with all the people there that were cheering us on, all the flags waving, and they just put on a really, really fantastic celebration, bringing us into Waco for the end of a really tough, challenging, but very rewarding day.
That all sounds like a pretty great experience. What made you want to get involved in the Ride to Recovery?
Well, originally I didn't, but I have an outstanding friend that told me what an amazing organization it is and why I should do it. And eventually I ended up doing it for 2 soldiers. I was a recruiter here in Texas, and I recruited 2 great young men. One of them, Staff Sergeant Kenny Griffith. He is a squad leader here at the Warrior Transition Brigade. He was shot through his arm in Iraq and has since recovered and has become quite the athlete. He's the one that talked me into doing it and who I actually did part of the ride with. The other soldier was another man that I recruited, Staff Sergeant Sean McNabb. Staff Sergeant Sean McNabb was a flight medic for the 160th SOAR, and he was killed in action on his 5th deployment. And the memory of him and the great friendship that I have now with this young man that I recruited, Kenny, has really got me motivated to help spread the word and share information about this great organization, Ride to Recovery, and how incredible it is and what all it does for the wounded veterans in their healing process. I wish I could have done more days. I wish I could have raised more money, but I'm definitely looking forward to doing it again next year because of how amazing of an organization it is.
If someone else wanted to get involved, how would they do that?
Really, it's pretty easy. You can go online to Recovery.wmv, and you can donate there, or you can sign up to participate in one of the rides. They have, I think, 6 across the nation and even 1 in Europe. You don't have to do the big, long 350 milers, but you can do anything between 40 and I think maybe even 70 miles in any one day. And that's enough to make it hurt a little bit, but it also to where you're giving something back, and it is still a challenge. So that's the ways that they could do it.
Us at Division West, we are more than grateful for you and the other participants that decided to join up and help out this effort for the Wounded Warriors.
It was my pleasure.
For those who want to get involved, that is Recovery.com. I'm Staff Sergeant Tiger Foster with First in the West. Join us again next time.